The Awakening, the Revised Edition. Chapter 31. Fight for Freedom. Bane chuckled as he dueled with Anakin, his blade holding up against Anakin's lightsaber. I've killed my fair share of Jedi. In your case, though, once I defeat you, I'll just capture you. I think Vader wants the privilege of killing you himself. Bane goaded. I've killed my fair share of bounty hunters as well. And losing to you is not an option, because that would mean leaving my family unprotected, Anakin retorted. They're already unprotected. Aura is collecting them as insurance right now, Bane said. Anakin froze, but then quickly let Bane think he wasn't worried. Obi-Wan and Rex won't let her touch them, Anakin said. We'll see, Bane said as the duel continued between them.
Come on, Chewie, get that stuff on the ship. We need to be ready to go,
Han urged, as he suddenly looked up and saw Aura Sting approaching. And what was even worse was that she wasn't alone. Boba Fett was with her.
Stang, get on the ship!
Han called as he ducked blaster fire from the bounty hunter. Move and you're dead, Aura said, as she leveled her blaster at Han. Chewie growled angrily and charged her, but Boba Fett took care of him by deploying his restrictor cable and trapping the Wookiee, as he and Aura ascended the ramp of the ship. But Obi-Wan stood in their way and ignited his lightsaber.
Well, Obi-Wan Kenobi, I was hoping for a chance to settle an old score with Mace Windu, but you'll do for now, Boba said. You will not set foot on this ship,
Obi-Wan said as he raised his blade. Boba Fett drew his blaster and Obi-Wan blocked each and every blaster bolt. Boba Fett flipped back and Obi-Wan followed as their duel continued, mirroring one another, much like Obi-Wan had fought with Boba's father over 20 years ago. With Boba occupied, Aura Singh slipped up the ramp of the ship and hid in a crevice. She watched a young man who bore a striking resemblance to Skywalker run past, a young Taratugan female following him. Luke, no, stay here! Ahsoka pleaded. Ben needs our help. I am not just going to stand here, Luke called as he ran down the ramp. Ahsoka sighed and followed them. She smirked. This would be child's play, she thought, as she slipped into the cabin. Her smirk widened as she saw a familiar petite brunette standing at one of the windows, gently rocking a crying infant. Shh. I know, baby. I know. Mummy's here, and Daddy will be back soon, she cooed at him as she kissed his head. I wouldn't make promises to him that he can't keep, Aura said, causing Padme to whirl around. She was about to scream, but the bounty hunter trained her blaster on her baby son. Scream, and I'll shoot the brat, Aura threatened, and Padme knew she would. Come along quietly, Aura ordered. As she said that, Rex came charging at her and toppled her to the ground. They wrestled, trying to subdue each other, but Aura slammed the butt of her blaster into the back of Rex's head. When the first blow didn't subdue him, she hit him 2 more times, finally managing to throw him off. Rex! Solar called.
Solar, stay back! He called.
Aura smirked and aimed her blaster. Rex, look out! Padme cried. He turned just in time, and instead of taking the blaster to the heart, he took it to the shoulder. No! Solar cried as she rushed to his side. Come with me quietly, or I'll finish him and this one off, Aura threatened. Padme nodded. I'll go with you. Just don't hurt them, and let me give my baby to my sister, Padme pleaded. Aura smirked. Sorry, Pixie, but the brat comes too. Now go, or the clone and your sister are dead, Aura growled. Tears pricked at Padme's eyes, and she let Aura lead her down the ramp of the ship. Mum! She's got Mum and Jaden! Luke called, as he watched the female bounty hunter shove his mother into her speeder. Luke and Ahsoka bounded towards the speeder, but Boba stopped them by blocking their way by using his flamethrower. They covered their faces and were forced to hold back, as they could only watch Aura speed off with Padme and Jaden as her captives. Anakin exchanged furious blows with the bounty hunter, but was quickly gaining the upper hand. Bane wasn't surprised. Anakin was the most skilled Jedi he had ever faced, and he still had youth on his side. Fortunately, Bane's ace in the hole was now arriving, Anakin force-shoved Bane back into the wall and extinguished his blade.
Quitting already, Skywalker? Back in the day, if you had me cornered, you'd run me through with that thing,
Bane taunted. Things change, and so do people. You're practically unarmed, and I don't kill unarmed people. Anakin replied.
Even ones that would turn your little girl over to Darth Vader without batting an eye? 'Cause that's exactly where she's going. Vader will be her executioner,
Bane taunted. Anakin ignited his lightsaber again and put it up to Bane. If you are wise, then you'll leave here right now and never bother my family again. I won't let you harm them, and if I have to kill you to protect them, I will. I am giving you a choice, and I suggest you make the right one, Anakin said. Bane chuckled.
You've gone soft, Skywalker. There's one hell of a payday on your head, and anyone who's associated with you. So I won't stop until I collect, or you try and make me stop permanently. What's the choice will you make?
Bane goaded, as he saw Aura's speeder in the near distance. That's when Anakin felt Padme's fear and heard Jaden's cries. He turned sharply and ran towards the slowing speeder, but the female bounty hunter held her blaster to Padme's head, stopping him dead in his tracks. Not another step, Skywalker, because nothing would give me greater pleasure than to blow her pretty head off. Aura growled. Annie, I'm sorry, Padme cried as she tried to rock their inconsolable son.
It'll be all right, Angel,
he assured her, as he turned to Bane and extinguished his blade.
My, another brat. You've been a busy boy,
Bane chuckled. Let my family go and you can take me to Vader, Anakin said. Daddy, no! Leia cried as she started towards him, but Bane grabbed her arm and held her back.
Just like that, huh?
Bane goaded. The women and the brats are worth too much for us to just let them go, Aura argued.
Skywalker's is worth the most. Let them go,
he said as he released Leia's arm. She tore away from him and threw her arms around Anakin. Daddy, you can't do this, she cried. In the short span of a year, Leia and Anakin had grown close, and in a way, it was like they had known each other for much longer. Perhaps it was because Leia and Anakin shared a special connection. Anakin held her tightly and kissed her hair.
It'll be okay. You and Luke need to take care of your mother and Jaden for me. Make sure you go somewhere where they can't find you,
Anakin told her. No, Daddy, you can't go. He'll kill you, Leia cried as Anakin cupped her cheeks.
If it means protecting you, your mother, and your brothers, then I have to take that chance, Princess,
he told her. Tears slipped down Leia's cheeks, and suddenly, she was a little girl again, having a nightmare. In her nightmares, her real father, though she hadn't known that's who he was at the time, had come to rescue her and kiss away the tears. But now the nightmare was real, and he was saving her again. But this time it was by sacrificing himself.
You need to help Luke take care of your mother and baby brother for me,
Anakin told her. Leia could only nod as tears streamed down her face.
Let's go, Skywalker. I'm anxious to get my money,
Bane snapped.
Let me say goodbye to my wife,
Anakin requested. Bane rolled his eyes and put his hand up to Aura, signaling for her to lower her blaster. Boss! Aura refuted in disgust.
Let him say goodbye to her. He's never going to see her again after all,
Bane goaded. Aura snorted in disgust. Make it fast and no tricky moves, Aura warned as she lowered her blaster. Padme climbed out of the speeder and ran to Anakin with Jaden in her arms. She put a free arm around him and he enclosed his around her. You can't let them do this to us. I need you. We need you, Padme sobbed.
I know, but this is the only way to ensure that the rest of you is safe. I'll find a way to get away from them before they can hand me over to Vader,
he whispered to her. How? It will be impossible once you reach Coruscant. You know that, Padme whispered back.
But if it means protecting you and our children, Then I have no choice,
he replied. I can't live without you,
Padme sobbed. You have to try. For our kids. They need you,
he told her. They need you too, she replied. He cupped her face with his hand and leaned down, pressing his lips passionately against hers. Oh, please! I feel my lunch coming back up, Aura complained.
You've said your goodbyes. Now it's time to go,
Bane ordered. Anakin kissed Jaden's head and backed away. I love you, Padme called.
I love you too, Angel,
Anakin replied as Bane shackled his wrists and ankles.
I can't have my credits trying to escape. Let's go,
Bane said as he led them to the speeder. Take a good look at them, Skywalker, because it's the last time you'll ever see them, Aura goaded as she fired the thrusters. Padme gave Jaden to Leia and started towards the speeder. But Aura's blaster stopped her. Give me one reason not to shoot you, because nothing would give me greater pleasure. Padme stopped and looked at her husband as tears streamed down her cheeks. She saw his eyes move down and then back up before doing it again. She casually looked at the ground and noticed his lightsaber by his foot from where he had relinquished it.
Remember what I've taught you, Angel. This is our only chance.
Anakin called to her through the Force. Padme stared at the cylindrical object and concentrated. Say goodbye to your beau, 'cause you'll never see him again. I do hope Vader offers to let us watch him torture your husband before he finally grants him the sweet release of death. Aura leered. The lightsaber shook and Padme caught it in her hand, concealing it beside her leg. The only one that's going to die today is you! Padme growled as she ignited Anakin's lightsaber. Aura fired her blaster and Padme screamed as she put the blade up in front of her, managing to hide behind the protection of his glowing azure blade. But the distraction was exactly what Anakin needed. He lunged forward from the back seat and elbowed Bane in the face before wrapping his arms around Aura's neck. Bane stumbled out of the speeder as he wiped blood from his mouth as he set his sights on Padme. Anakin squeezed his arms around her neck as hard as he could. Aura flailed and dug her nails into him, trying in vain to either overpower him or get him to loosen his grip. Anakin growled in pain as he felt her nails pierce his skin. He knew he had to end it now, and he quickly advanced his strength with the Force. There was a sickening crack as Aura's neck snapped and her body slumped lifeless to the seat. Anakin jumped out of his speeder and Padme used his lightsaber to free him from the shackles. He took control of his weapon and sliced through the ankle shackles, just in time to see Bane trying to get away on foot. Anakin quickly pulled Padme into a kiss.
You saved me this time,
Anakin said. There was no way I was going to let him take you away from me. Not again, Padme said, as tears still streamed down her face. He knew she needed him, but Bane was getting away. Go! We'll be fine. Just come back for us, Padme urged. He kissed her quickly and dragged Aura's body out of the speeder before hopping in.
Get in! I have a feeling that Bane might not be the only bounty hunter around. You'll be safer with me,
Anakin decided, as Padme took Jaden from Leia and they both climbed into the back seat. They put their harnesses on, and Padme was uneasy, because this speeder had no child seat. She held Jaden tightly as Anakin took them into the air in pursuit of the bounty hunter that had tried to destroy their family.
You're losing your touch, old man,
Boba Fett taunted, as Obi-Wan continued to block his blaster bolts.
I seem to be faring fine, and as long as there is breath in my body, I'll not let you anywhere near my family,
Obi-Wan replied, as he dodged Boba's flamethrower. Ahsoka and Luke jumped into the fight, trying to break through Boba's defense. Aurra Singh is dead, Ahsoka told him.
You're lying,
Boba refuted. Though bounty hunters never usually got close to anyone, he had cared for Aurra Singh like a mother figure of sorts, in a twisted, evil way, of course. But she had taken care of him after his father had been killed, and it angered him now that the Jedi had once again taken someone he cared away. I'm sorry, but I felt her life force fade. You'll be facing the same fate if you don't retreat, Ahsoka said. Boba chuckled.
Sorry, but you're not getting rid of me that easily. In many ways, I'm far more skilled than the likes of Aura Singh. And I'll prove it,
Boba growled as he kicked her in the chest, throwing her back. Luke charged at him, lightsaber blazing, but Boba released his restricting cable, capturing the young man. Skywalker would do anything to save one of his children. But this time, I won't muck it up like Bane did, Boba said as he raised his fist and hit Luke over the head. His head swam with dizziness as he lost consciousness. As the bounty hunter tossed his limp form over his shoulder, "No!" Ahsoka cried as he started to fly away with the use of his jetpack. But he wasn't counting on Rex's interference. The former soldier, with blood running down his face from a head wound and a searing pain on his wounded shoulder, shot the thrusters on his jetpack, killing it. Boba and Luke went falling to the ground, but while Boba hit the concrete hard, Ahsoka and Obi-Wan used the Force to gently set Luke down. Obi-Wan threw him over his shoulder and they both headed up the ramp.
Tell the captain to take off and head to the outskirts of town. We'll pick up Anakin, Padme and Leia there,
Obi-Wan said. Satine nodded and rushed off to tell him. Rex's legs gave out and Solo was by his side in an instant. "Chewbacca, please help me get him into a seat. As soon as we're in hyperspace, we can take him to the medbay," Salah said. Chewie growled and effortlessly lifted the man, while the others followed him into the cabin to strap in their harnesses. Boba snarled as he watched the ship leave, and he stumbled towards his own. This wasn't over, and he would wait for them to leave the planet before following. Bane climbed up the ladder on the side of the building. He had signaled his crew and they would be closing in on his location soon. Unfortunately, he saw Skywalker park his speeder below. "Stay here," he called to his family as he began following him up. Bane snarled and climbed faster. He saw his ship in the near distance and pulled out his ascension gun, just as Skywalker reached the top.
"We'll call this one a draw. Again. But we'll meet again, and I will collect that price on your head. So enjoy your life while you can,"
Bane called as he fired his gun and his ascension cable latched successfully to his ship, allowing him to escape. Anakin stared after him for a few moments before climbing down.
"He got away,"
Anakin told him. Padme reached out and squeezed his hand as she rocked their baby. "You'll get him next time. The important thing is, now that we're all safe," Padme said. He nodded, knowing that she was right. He kissed her forehead and Jaden's as he helped her out of the speeder. Leia got out and hugged him as well, just as they saw the Falcon slowly lowering above them. The ramp dropped as Han got as low as he could. Anakin helped them onto the ship before getting on himself.
"Boba Fett was here too. It is likely he's going to try and tail us,"
Obi-Wan said as he and Anakin headed for the cockpit. "Han, I need to take the controls. I'm going to need to lose Boba Fett."
"You think Boba's waiting to follow us?"
Han asked. "I'm afraid so. He's not one to give up so easily," Anakin said. Han slid over to the co-pilot seat as Anakin took control of the ship. He headed for space, leaving the Naboo atmosphere quickly.
"I don't see anyone tailing us. Are you sure?"
Han asked. Anakin nodded. "Oh, he's back there," Anakin said.
"Look, you aren't thinking about fighting him, 'cause I'll tell you right now, the Falcon doesn't have the firepower to take on a ship like the Slave One,"
Han warned. "I know, so we're just going to lose him." "Watch the monitor," Anakin said. Han saw Boba's signal trying to lock onto them, which would allow him to follow their vapor trail once they jumped to hyperspace.
"He's made us. He's got a lock,"
Han called. Anakin smirked. "Not for long," Anakin said as he flipped a switch.
"What are you doing? We can't jump into hyperspace on autopilot,"
Han warned, as all the lights and warnings and signals started to fire on the console. "I know, but the interference I just caused terminated our signal on his ship's computer. And we'll be gone long before he can log on to us again," Anakin said as he flipped the switch, took control again, and readied for them for hyperspace. The Slave One attempted to lock on again, but Anakin was too fast and made the jump to safety of hyperspace. Now all they had to figure out was where they would be lying low. Things were still too risky to bring the rebellion back together fully yet, and they would remain scattered in smaller groups until they could come together again. R2, start scanning planets for suitable, safe places, and let me know what our options are, Anakin said, as he undid his harness and went back into the cabin, with Han following him, once again impressed by Anakin's exceptional piloting skills and experience. End of chapter. Hi guys, hope you enjoyed that one. I like that one. Yeah, so the bounty hunters didn't succeed. I feel kind of sorry for Boba because of Aura, but I didn't like her, so I'm not too cut up about her death. And yeah, just all in all, good chapter. Anyway, yeah, you guys know the drill. Like, comment and subscribe and hit that bell to be notified whenever I upload a new video. Have a good day, night, or whatever time zone you're in. Bye my guys, gals and non-binary pals. I'll see you in another video. Take care.